In the part 1 of my video, I made a claim that that is the only video you're going to be needing to pass your IELTS. Even though I stand by that till now, some people came up with different questions that made me think a part 2 is needed. I'm making another claim that the part 1 of this video and this part 2 that you're watching right now are the 2 videos you need to prepare yourself to sit for IELTS and pass in one sitting. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ariola. In case you're new here, that should be a crime. You're welcome. Please join the family right now and let's get into the video of the day. If you've not watched part 1 of this video, I will advise you pause this particular video right now, go watch that video, and then you come back to this. Or you can just watch this video and then go back to the first one, and make sure you watch everything to the end. So today's video is a part 2 of how to pass your IELTS in just one sitting. And I noticed that in the whole of that part 1, I never talked about the type of test that you should choose to write. So here it is. There are 2 bodies that write this test in Nigeria, the IDP and the British Council. If I'm being sincere with you guys, I chose IDP because it was cheaper for me. However, I do not know and I do not think that the tests are different. I just think there are 2 different bodies, which are the IDP and the British Council, that organize this question. No matter how different these questions may be, which I'm not even sure they are different, I know, even without writing with British Council, I know that British Council will still follow the rules and regulations concerning IELTS. Another question that I got in the comment section of the last video is, how do you know whether you're to write the academic or the general writing? This question is very easy to answer. You just have to go to whatever program or whatever process that you are going through and check what is needed. Mostly for Canada immigration, you need the general writing. Please confirm before you register. I will not be held accountable for any of these mistakes. Just check whatever you are applying for and you will know which one you are to register for. Mostly if you're not going through study routes or anything that has to do with academics, you do not need to write academics exam. It is most likely going to be general writing. I'm saying it again, please check through whatever you are applying for you to know which one in particular you are supposed to be registering for. There is IELTS academics, there is general writing, there is something like UKVI. So please go through it and know which one best fits you. There are also different types of other exams like CELPIP. There is also the one that they're writing for the French exam, and people are actually getting into the pool easily with these types of exams. So please check and be sure before you register for any of these types of exams. Another thing I did not say in the last video is how you should prepare for this exam. I said it in that video that I prepared for only 3 days, and that is very valid. Somebody asked me if I actually studied reading, writing, speaking, and listening in those 3 days. I want to get back to you guys so that you guys will get me. Please do not get me wrong. I never said I practiced all of this in 3 days. I told you I started knowing about PR since 2021, and I've been making my research about IELTS because it is an important requirement for you to go through your PR journey. So I know everything about IELTS. I know the rules and regulations. I know what to do and what not to do. I know everything that is needed for me to pass the IELTS. I know the type of questions that are required in the reading, the writing, the speaking. I know everything about it. However, I started to practice or even go through these questions like a month before my exam. I noticed that, okay, this is the kind of exam that I am going to be able to pass. I knew that because I knew my strengths. So what did I do? I continued working on whatever I was working on, and I just left IELTS. So when it was just a week to me writing the IELTS, I went back to the study table, and then I started to study all of these questions. I came to the realization that listening questions, you just have to know the rules and regulations.
I just want to quickly pop in to tell you that the time that you need to prepare for the exam depends on your schedule, on how fast you grasp things, and how much time left before your exam.
And that is moving on to the next step. Things you need to know about listening part of the IELTS. No matter how many questions you practice for IELTS, if you do not listen in the exam, you will fail the exam because these questions do not guarantee that those are the questions that are going to come out in the exam, right? But if you know how to listen, You practice some questions, you practice and practice. You know how they insert the answers you are looking for in these questions. Now you're already prepared to go and write IELTS. Listening. Just the listening part. The listening part, as the name implies, is actually listening. If you listen and you are not distracted and you read the instruction on each section of the listening exam and you follow them accordingly, I am very sure that you will not fail the listening part of the exam. So that is everything I'm going to talk about for listening. Listening actually means listen. You just have to listen and know how to get your answers, and that is everything for listening. Based on my comment section in the last video, I noticed that people actually have more problem with the reading part of IELTS as compared to the writing, which I personally have more problem with. So today we're going to be focusing more on the reading and the writing aspect of IELTS. So for the reading questions, you actually have 40 questions to answer in 1 hour. 40 questions in 60 minutes. So now, if you're to typically say how many minutes you should spend on each question, that means you're going to be spending 1 minute and 30 seconds on each question. I will not advise you to do that. I'll tell you the advice or the process that you can use in answering your reading exam in the later part of this video. So typically for general writing, you're going to be having 5 short paragraphs if you are doing the general writing. However, if you're doing the academic exam, you're going to be having 3 longer passages. So those are one of the differences between IELTS academic and IELTS general. So 3 long passages for the academic and 5 shorter passages for general writing. So for the time management that I mentioned before, here is how I would advise that you do it. The first passages are actually the easier ones and they get more difficult as you move down. I told you in the general writing there are 3 passages, so definitely the first passage should be the easiest one, followed by the second one should be a little bit harder. The last one is usually the hardest passage. So I will advise for the first passage you use 15 minutes. If possible, do not use up to 15 minutes on that passage. Whatever you are not able to answer, just move on to the next passage. Asterisk it, like make a sign on it to know that you have not answered that question and move to the next passage. I will advise that you spend 20 minutes on the second passage and 25 minutes on the third passage. I have just allocated time to these passages. The faster you are able to finish this passage, the better for you, so that you have enough time to go through all of these questions once again before you finally submit. Another thing you need to know is that you have to answer the question on the question booklet, and please, in anything you do not forget to transfer your answers into the answer sheet. If you answer your questions on the question booklet and you do not transfer it to the answer sheet, it's as good as wrong, because you will be marked fail. They will not check your question paper to see that, okay, you marked B, but you did not have time to shade it on your answer sheet. Nobody will do that for you. So no matter the time that you spend on answering the question, transferring them to the answer sheet is the most important. So what will I advise that you do? When you finish passage 1, move all of your answers from passage 1 onto the answer sheet before you move to passage 2. If you're on passage 3, let's take for instance you are on the 35th question and you notice that the time is running by, please stop and transfer all your answers into your answer sheet before you continue to answer the last 5 questions. You know that if you do not transfer the answer to the questions that you already answered, that you are very sure that you know the answer to, you do not transfer them to your answer booklet, it's as good as fail. Don't do that mistake, please. And don't be that person that is rushing and rushing to shade. An examiner has the right, when they tell you time up, they have every right to come and cancel out some answers that you must have answered because you are still shading after they told you to stop writing. They even have the authority to cancel your paper. So don't be that person that they cancel your paper, please. Just when they say time is up, time is up. it is better you get a 7 than for you to not have a result at all. The strategy I use for answering my reading part of this exam is that I first of all quickly glance through the questions. Let's say the questions are 5. I rush through the 1 to 5 questions. Then I move and I start to rush through the passage. As I am rushing through the passage, as you have read those questions, you already have a lingering word or connection to this passage. So as you're reading through the passage, not reading, just skimming through the passage, you are going to be able to identify some keywords. Whenever you notice that keywords, please just underline it. If you're not a fast reader, I will not advise that you read the question and then skim through the answer. I would advise you read the question and start to answer your questions immediately. Once you read the question 1 to 5, for instance, you pick question 1. Look for the answer of question 1 in the passage and answer it. If you're a fast reader, very fast reader, you have the luxury of time to read the questions, rush through the comprehension or the passage, understand it, pick out the answers that you think might be the answers to the question. You can underline them, you can asterisk them, or anything that you think is better for you. Then you now move to question 1. At that point, you already know where question 1 answer should be. So you will now be able to be faster. That can help you to be faster if you are actually a fast reader. So I'm telling you right now, there are 2 options. It's either you scan through the question and then you scan through the passage to pick what you think are going to be the likely answers. Then you start to read your question 1 and answer your question 1. Or you just read through your questions very fast and then you pick your question 1 answer and look for your question 1 answer in the passage. So you have to know who you are. You have to understand yourself, and that will help you to know what you should do for this part of the exam. In the last video, I was telling you guys that some people that actually fail do not actually fail. So here's what I mean by that. Do you know that for you to get a band 6 in the general writing, you have to get a minimum of 30 marks? Somebody that actually got a 6 got 30 over 40. Can you believe that? For you to get a band 6.5, you have to get 32, and for you to get a band 7, you have to get 34. So 34 over 40 is actually a band 7. For the academic writing, for you to get a band 7, you have to get 30 over 40, and for you to get a band 8, you have to get 35 over 40. That is ridiculous. You just have to know these things and put them into consideration. You can even mark yourself from the exam hall, because there are some questions that you know in your mind that you do not find the answers there, and you know that you're just like gambling or something. So from the questions answered in the example, you could mark yourself that, okay, I'm going to get a band 6.5 or 7 or 7.5, just marking yourself. That does not mean that is going to be your result at the end of the day. It's just you having a mental feasibility for what you're expecting from the exam. For the reading aspect of this exam, there are different sections. There is a true or false or not given part of this exam. I would advise that you guys go and check out Fast Track IELTS. She explains everything concerning this exam properly. If you check the description of this video, I must have linked the channels that I think are necessary for you to pass IELTS there. So please check them out. There are different parts of this IELTS reading exam. The first one is there are different type of questions. You can see the true or false or not given type of questions. You can see the yes, no, not given type of question. Let me explain what this means. For the true or false or not given part of this question, it usually comes in the first and the easiest passage, or you find them in the second passage. The yes or no or not given part of this exam is usually found in the third paragraph, which is going to be the hardest part, or you can likely find it in the second passage of this exam. The true or false or not given are actually facts, known facts. But that does not mean that you should carry a known fact into the passage. The known fact given in the passage is the known facts that you should answer in the answer. Even though you know that the known fact in that passage is wrong, it doesn't concern you. Don't look for outside knowledge. Be so focused on just the passage. If the passage makes a wrong fact, follow the passage. Let's take, for instance, the passage tells you that the world is flat, please stick to the world is flat as mentioned in the passage. Don't think that they said the world is spherical and everybody knows that the world is spherical. No, just stick to the facts given in the passage. That simply means that don't bring in outside knowledge into this exam. Focus on just on the passage and you are safe. The yes or no or not giving part is usually the hardest part of this reading exam. If you check it, it actually means they actually want you to check if what is being said matches what the writer opinion is. Like for the passage, you have to understand that what the writer is saying, is it yes or no? The reason why this part of the exam is actually harder is because you have to digest what the writer is saying. You have to understand what the writer is saying. You have to know if this question matches what the writer is saying. It's not just reading it, you have to understand it. So for you to now be able to give your opinion, if yes, what the writer is saying is what the question is saying or not. Or if in the whole passage it's not even given at all. Do you guys even understand what I'm saying at all? Like let's say for instance there's a passage and the opinion of the writer of this passage has to be heard. It's either the question is saying the truth about the opinion of the writer or it's saying the false. So yes is for yes, it is saying the truth about the opinion of the writer. No is no, it is not saying the opinion of the writer, or it is not given. That means the writer did not even talk about this in the passage. Usually you have to read a paragraph that may contain 2, 3, 4 sentences before you can get what the opinion of the writer is. That is why it is harder than the true or false or not given aspect of this exam, because in that one you're looking for just one sentence. The earth is flat. That is a fact. But in this you have to become the writer. You have to understand what the writer is saying. So you have to read more for you to understand what the writer is saying and then for you to take a side. Yes, this opinion is going with what the writer said, or no, this opinion is not going with what the writer said, or it is not given entirely in the passage. There's this very, very small secret that I want to let you guys know. However, I'm not saying that this is the rule of IELTS. Please note, don't quote me anywhere. I didn't say that. But I'm just going to give you a trick. You see, when there is yes or no or not given aspects of the exam, or true or false or not given, you must answer with true or false or not given. Let me explain. If they give you 5 questions, there is a high possibility, very high possibility that you will get at least 1 true, 1 false, and 1 not given answer in those answers. 1 to 5. Are you guys even understand what I'm saying? Like now it is more complex than the first video, so I'm trying to explain it more. Let's take for instance there is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you answer true, false, true, you are most likely not correct because there must be not given in those answers. Am I communicating? Like there is a high possibility that you must use these 3 given options, either true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given. You must have at least one of these in those questions. You cannot not have yes in one of the answers of this question. I hope I'm not confusing you guys. I'm trying not to confuse you guys, but I've given so many examples. Let's say question 1 is yes, question 2 is no, question 3 is yes, question 4 is no. It is most likely going to be that question 5 answer is not given. The answer is not given. Do you guys get me? So if you're in a situation where you are so sure of question 1, question 2, question 3, and question 4 answers, and they seem to be yes, no, and you do not understand question 5, you have searched the whole passage and you cannot find the answer to question 5, it is most probably going to be not given that is going to be the answer. Do you guys get what I'm saying now? I hope I'm communicating and I'm not confusing you guys. Please, I've explained this for like the last 2 minutes, but I don't want to confuse you guys. So let's take for instance again. You have question 1 to be not given, question 2 to be no, question 3 to be not given, question 4 to be no. The answer to question 5 is most probably going to be yes. That is if you are sure that question 1 to 4 are correct. The reason why I'm giving you this trick is not for you to go and be like, when you get to the exam, you now be like question 1, 2, 3, 4 is and 5 is yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Then you know that you are correct, or you now say because I said there must be no given in the answer, you now go and clean it. No, I'm just saying most of these questions that have been set, you must have no, yes, not given in your answers. If you are sure of your answer and one of these options is not there, there is no problem about it. I also already said it. Please don't rely on what you know. Don't bring in outside answer into your question, into your answers. No, just focus on what the passage says and answer according to what the passage has said. Now I'm going to be giving general tips for IELTS reading. You must understand the different question types. That is why I keep hammering on the Fast Track IELTS channel. Please go and follow that channel. There's E2 IELTS, there's IELTS Advantage, different channels that I'm going to be linking in the description of this video. You have to subscribe and start to know the types of questions that you'll be facing in the exam, because you cannot get to the exam and not know the type of questions that might likely come out. Number one, you waste your time trying to understand the question. So you've already wasted half of the time understanding the question without even answering them. Better for you to go and start, even though you're not writing the exam now, start going to know the likelihood of the questions that are going to come out. The format, yes, the format of the questions that will be coming out, how they will be placed on the paper, how they will most probably be placed on the computer or on the paper. This will help you to get conversant with all of these questions, and it will reduce the time that you use in understanding the question before you even start answering. Number 2, most questions follow the same order. I've said this countless times. Your number 1 answer will most probably be in the first paragraph. Your number 2 answer will most probably be in the second paragraph or third paragraph. And the third question will most probably have its answer in the third or fourth paragraph. However, you might not be lucky to have this kind of orderliness during your own exam. But that does not mean that they will take question 1 answer to the last paragraph. They will not. They will still follow it, but just that you can find question 1 answer in the second paragraph, and then you will find the question 2 answer in the fourth paragraph. But you just have to know that they will most likely follow each other. They don't want to stress your head. You must put that in your head all the time. They don't want to stress you. So you will most probably see these questions and their answer in an orderly manner. The third tip is how you're going to answer these questions. Rush through the question. I've said it before, I'm still saying it again. Rush through the questions, rush through the paragraph, then go back to question 1 and start answering. If you're a slow reader, please don't rush through the paragraph. Rush through the questions, go back to question 1 and start answering accordingly. That leads me to the tip 4. You must read. Not just looking. You know, there is a difference between looking and reading. You must read between the lines for you to be able to get some answers to some questions. So don't waste your time. There's a way that we do it mentally. You think you are reading, but you're just skimming. Don't skim. Read for you to actually know that you have gotten the answer. So let's take for instance, you are skimming through a long passage, then you see, let's say the key word that you see in the question is colors. Let's say colors, red, blue, green. Then as you are reading, you saw colors as you're reading. That means that you have gotten close to your answer. So what you do at that point is you will not scan through the passage anymore. You have to calm down and read between the lines. Number 5 tip is for you to understand synonym, paraphrasing, and adjectives. There will be so much paraphrasing in the passage that you might most likely miss your answer. They will not tell you up in the question and then you see up in the passage. Yes, it happens. Sometimes they give you the same word they use in the question in the passage. However, they can say up but use towards the sky. That's the up, right? In the passage, they have paraphrased it. So you must know paraphrasing and you must know synonyms. Sometimes they will not use the same words. They will use words that are closest in meaning to that word that is being presented in the question, in the passage. So you must know synonym a lot for you to be able to know that they are still talking about this thing that they are asking in the question is still the thing they're talking about in the passage. So synonym and paraphrasing is a key thing. There are key things that you have to know, you have to actually learn so that you're going to be able to pass your IELTS exam. You must be able to avoid distractors. Let's take for instance, they ask you a question and then they give you 4 options for you to pick from. Most of, there is only one answer in that question, right? All of those options will most probably have the keyword from the passage. So you have to be able to understand that these are distractors. They are not talking about the answer. They are just distractors. Some people, once they are answering a question and they see some words that are being used in the passage in the options for the answers, right? They will not even check to see whether that is what the question is asking. No. Once they've seen that number 1 keyword in the option of the answer, they will not check the remaining options anymore. They will just rush and answer it. No, those are distractors. So you have to know what the question is asking and what the answer should be. Don't follow distractors. It's like a man following Bombo. That's the distraction. There's also the part of the IELTS reading that is called matching headings. What you try to do in this part of the IELTS reading is that don't match headings to paragraphs. Try to match paragraphs to headings. So the tip I'll give you is that don't read the headings first. Forget about the headings. Go to the paragraphs. That number, let's say paragraph A. Read the paragraph, understand the paragraph. What are they talking about in the paragraph? That's what's going to help you know which of the option of the headings to pick. You should please read the paragraph and know what the paragraph is about for you to be able to match it to the appropriate heading. The problem with reading the heading before reading the paragraph is that as soon as you see a particular word or keyword that matches any of the headings that you must have read before, your brain automatically tells you that you've gotten your answer. Most times it's the wrong answer because you did not calm down to actually know what the writer is talking about. Immediately you saw a keyword, you concluded that that is the keyword that is being looked for you to conclude on your heading. That is the wrong approach to answer it. So the tip is read the passage and try to match the passage to the heading and not matching the heading to the passage. If you match headings to the paragraph, you notice that when you read other paragraph, you'll be like, oh, it seems I've matched the wrong paragraph to the wrong heading. So that will give you a run for your time. It will destabilize you and it will make you start looking for how to start matching again. But you have to note that there are some headings that will be matched to more than one passage. So it's likely that you are also correct. You just have to read the instruction for you to understand what is going on. Let's take for instance, they give you 8 paragraphs, but they give you just 5 headings. You know that definitely some of those headings will match to more than one paragraph. That's exactly what I'm trying to explain. The 8th tip is that anything you cannot find is not given. Do you guys get that? Because you cannot find something in the paragraph does not mean that it is not given. You have to understand the power of synonym. Maybe they have changed that word to another word to represent it in the paragraph. So you have to be very careful before you conclude that something is not given in the passage. But that does not mean that if you cannot find it, you have to waste your time looking for it. It might just be not given. I've said this tip before, is a 9 tip, and please, it is that you should not forget to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Simple. If you forget, it's as useless as not writing the exam because you did not answer the question. The 10th tip is that academic exam is different from general tests, so you have to note what type of tests you are going to write and you have to practice accordingly. Even though I gave suggestion of some channels in my previous video, some people were still asking, what book should they buy? What book should they buy to be able to practice for IELTS? And I'm saying it again, you do not need any book to practice for IELTS exam. You do not need any book. And I'm repeating it again, quote me anywhere, you do not need any book. The YouTube links that I'll be putting in my description to different YouTube channels are the only things that you need. You can even come on YouTube and type IELTS reading tests with answers, and you will see thousands of videos that are going to give you, even the one for last month, which is March. They will give you, it might not be true that it is the same, that it is the question that came out last month, but it will be very close to what came out last month, or it will just be the type of questions that should give you an idea of what you should expect in your exam. So just come on YouTube, type whatever you need. IELTS training, how to do IELTS, how to prepare for IELTS, what to do to prepare for IELTS, different type of IELTS question type. Almost anything you need about IELTS is found or is present, it's here on YouTube. Just search and you'll get it. Personally, I don't think you need any book. In short, the things that are on YouTube are books. So just come on YouTube, search whatever you are looking for. Phrase your question whatever way, rephrase it to get particularly what you are looking for. Like rephrase, use different words to be able to streamline exactly what you are looking for, and you get whatever you're looking for here on YouTube. It's better for you to search and get new updates, get past updates, than for you to just have a book in front of you that is so rigid, like it's not flexible, you don't get new opinions. And the sweet thing about these YouTube channels is that you get somebody who is like a teacher that's going to like teach you exactly what you're supposed to know. So in all aspects, I think this is better than having a book. Now we'll move to the writing aspect of this exam. So many people have been asking about the academic writing. I personally did not write the academic, I wrote the general test. So I won't really have much opinion about the academic writing. However, I will still move you guys to those YouTube channels that I recommended. The links are in the description. Please go and check them out. What I'm just going to talk about the academic writing is that it also has two parts. The first part is like a chart for you to describe the chart, describe a diagram scientifically, things like that. They're all like very scientific. For general writing, the first part is usually a letter writing. The second part of the IELTS writing is usually the same thing for both general and academic. The topic might not be the same, but they are generally the same thing as per it is essay writing. So for general writing, the part one is usually letter writing. It can be formal, semi-formal, or informal. The rules that are guiding the formal, semi-formal, and informal letter in every aspect of English guides this particular one too. So any rule that you know about informal writing is what you should apply to this if you are being given informal writing. If it is semi-formal or formal writing, the same rule of English that you have known all your life is the same thing that you should apply here. The hardest part of this particular part is you identifying whether it is a formal letter, a semi-formal letter, or an informal letter. So for you to understand that, you also have to put in the knowledge that you have known for a long time, how to detect which one it is. Mostly informal letters are actually ones that we write to our friends, our families, and co. Then the semi-formal are usually the ones that we write to maybe officials around our neighborhood. Maybe let's say you are staying in an estate and you have some kind of letter that you want to write. It is not actually a formal letter, However, you have to know that formal letter and semi-formal letter are almost the same. So if you're not sure which it is, you can just conclude that it is a formal letter and just write in that aspect. I will advise that you please read more on semi-formal, formal letter and informal letter, so that you will not have a hard time determining which one it is when you get to the exam before even starting to write. Because for you to stay long determining which one it is, you're already wasting a lot of your time. Essay is formal writing. No matter how they ask you to write it, do not shorten your words. Don't write isn't, write it is not. Don't write wasn't, write was not. Write everything in full. In short, even when you are writing informal letter, just for you to be safe, just don't be too formal. Write everything in full. The only difference with informal letter is that they want you to be free, very free. There is no need for you to be so formal. You can use slangs, you can use things that only you and your friend are supposed to understand. You know, you can just use all of those words that you use so casually. Like you can use idioms, you can use different type of words. But for the formal letter, you have to remain formal, and that also applies to the part 2 of this exam. It is a formal setting. You have to maintain that formality. No idioms, no slangs. Write everything in full. So for this writing part of this exam, I'm going to be giving you guys like 6 or 7 tips. And the number 1 tip is that you do not write irrelevant points. As much as you want your paper to be full, please restrict yourself from writing irrelevant things. If it is not needed, it is not needed. Don't include it. If it's not relevant to the question, don't include it. For instance, it asks you to write about the advantage of working from home. Please don't start this essay by talking about when working from home started, the history of working from home, who brought it up. No, don't do that. Just go ahead and write about the advantages of working from home. That's just an example. I'm not saying those type of questions come out. Just an example. When they ask you a question, answer what you have been asked. Simple. Don't put irrelevant stuff as much as possible. If you think it is irrelevant, it is irrelevant. Number 2, you have to know that tax 1 is a letter and tax 2 is an essay. Tax 1 is 150 words minimum, type 2 is 250 words minimum. You have to write your words in full. There is no need for abbreviation, nothing like that. Write your words in full. Number 4, avoid slangs, idioms, and other irrelevant words. Like, go straight to the point. It is a formal letter, write it as such, except if it is an informal letter for the part 1 of this writing test. Now I want to talk about the types of part 2 essays. There are 5 types of the type 2 essay. The first one is 2 views and your opinion. That is, like, you just want to hear about, they will give you 2 views. You talk about those 2 views and then you talk about your opinion. Do you get? So there are like 3 points about this type of essay: 1 view, 2 view, and your opinion view. That is it. Easy, simple, and straightforward. Then there is the opinion essay. It's usually like agree or disagree. So they give you a topic, they ask you to agree or disagree with the topic. So you have to choose which one you want. Is it that you want to agree or you want to disagree? And that is it. So the third type of essay is advantage and disadvantage. It's like a comparison. It's like it's either you're given a topic and you're asked to write the advantage part of it or disadvantage part of it, or you're asked to write the advantage and disadvantage. So it's like you comparing. It looks like the 2 views and an opinion, but in this aspect, they're not asking for your own opinion. They're just asking you to talk about these 2 parts, and that is it. The fourth one is problem solution essay, and it simply means like they're going to provide you with a problem and then they'll provide you with a solution, or they'll provide you with a problem and they expect you to write about the solution. So it's just very simple as you've heard it. It's like, this is a problem. They will state the problem for you. Then you give the solution to that problem. The fifth and the final one is direct questions. In the question, they will usually just write a statement, then they will write the 2 questions they want you to answer. Very straightforward. There will be a question. or there will be a statement. Let me not say a question. There will be a statement. Long statements most of the time. So they will give you 2 questions about that essay, and you have to discuss about that in the essay, and that is all. That's everything about that type of question. Usually for almost all of these essays, there's this tip I'm going to give you. So the first paragraph, opening points. Second paragraph, question, answering the question. Third paragraph, you're also answering the question. And the fourth paragraph will just be the conclusion part, the summarization and the whole point of view of the question, like coming to a conclusion. The only part of this exam I'm not going to talk about is the speaking part, and the reason is because you have to actually go on and watch some illustrated examples of the speaking aspect of this exam. You have to go, I think E2 IELTS, they focus more on the speaking exam, so they will tell you how to get a band 8 in this speaking exam, how to get a band 9, how to get a band 7. So they focus primarily on speaking aspect. That's the E2 IELTS. So just go and check it out. But the general rule for the speaking part of IELTS is that you have to use complex and compound sentences. Don't just keep giving the examiner simple sentence. You have to be able to use conjunctions, the proper use of adjectives, where to use pronouns and not continuously use nouns, and then your intonation matters. Like they have to see stress points. You know, when you're conversing with people, you have to know where to increase your pitch, because the point at which you increase your pitch or you stress your words make a difference to the meaning of those sentences. So the use of proper tenses, the use of figure of speech, part of speech, like you have to know exactly what, when, and how to use them. The what is, what part of speech are you using? What figure of speech are you using? You have to know so many synonyms. You have to know how to paraphrase your sentences. You have to be able to think smart, think fast as you are being asked the questions. You'll be given, I think, 2 minutes to write whatever you want to talk about. When you're being given that 2 minutes, please don't waste time and start writing long words. Like, let's say, for instance, you want to talk about your village. On the piece of paper you're going to be given, just write maybe population. Service, right? What's the population of my village? No, just write population. So you know that you're going to talk about your population. You talk about your palace. Talk about growing up. You don't need to write growing up in my village. You already know what you want to talk about, right? Just write those key points so that when you're talking to the examiner, when you're being asked to stop writing and then you start talking, you already have your points on paper. Just go ahead and give whatever point you want to give about whatever you have summarized on your paper, and that is it. Another thing I'm going to say about speaking is confidence. You can't go to write, you can't like have an appointment to do your speaking aspect of the exam and you're not confident about your use of English, your voice. Some people's voice just cracks and shakes upon seeing the examiner. The examiner has not even talked about himself, they've not said anything, just seeing the examiner, they just get destabilized, and that is the easiest way to feel, because most people know what to say. But if you're already so tensed up, you might not be able to regain your balance till the end of the exam. And this examiner does not know you personally to know that that was just a bad day for you. So he or she is going to mark you according to what you give. So don't be like, today is my bad day. The examiner does not know you. So they do not know that that was a bad day for you. You have to be ready, you have to be confident enough, you have to be ready to answer any question you are going to be given. You have to just first of all know that whatever question you are being given, this is a personal question. This examiner does not know you. So even if you come up with a story that is a lie, he doesn't know. Whether you come up with a true life story, he or she doesn't know. What they are looking for in your speaking aspect of this exam is just your use of words, your use of tenses, your use of figure of speech, um your ability to assimilate um whatever, or the ability to be in a scenario and create a good let's say story. Yes, I can say story, or a good write up about that topic you have been given. They just want to see your use of English. They want to know that, see, if you're born and bred in Nigeria, you also went through school, even if it's just small, you can speak English. That is it. So I will most probably advise that you don't use words that you don't even know the meaning of. Instead of you to use flabbergasted, just use surprise. Surprise is a good word that replaces flabbergasted, right? Instead of you to use big word, even you don't even know, you don't know the meaning of. Maybe you just know that, okay, this person says this once. Maybe you just watch a movie and you saw somebody use that word, but because of the way the movie is, you know what that word should mean, but you don't actually know what that word means. Don't use ambiguous words. Use simple words. Make your sentences rich. Don't use simple sentence all the time. But if you have to use simple sentence, please use simple sentence. Don't use sentences and keep adding and. And is not the only conjunction to be used. So if you think that you do not want to use too much and you're in that position where the only conjunction that you can use there is and, break your sentence, make them into simple sentence, and try to make the preceding sentence more complex and more compounded sentences, and you are good to go. That's everything I have to say about this IELTS writing. I think it's going to be the last video about IELTS writing, IELTS in general, IELTS exam. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you find it helpful. I will definitely see you guys in the next one, but it's not going to be about IELTS anymore. If you guys still have questions about this IELTS exam, that means we are going to have a live video, and you come with your questions and then we answer it. It's not going to be any sit down video anymore. It's just going to be a live section. So if you have a question or you still have problem about this IELTS exam in general, let me know in the comment section. We're going to fix date and time, and then we'll talk about it. I will see you guys in the next one. My name is Ariola. I hope you like it. Subscribe, like, comment, and bye.